that time that you were confused why they felt the need to note that a killer had bags of lime at his house because you thought it meant limes of like the fruit?
I was so confused. I was like, why do we care that he has limes? Whoop-de-doo.
You are listening to Rent Free in My Head, the podcast where we take the thoughts that are squatting in our brains and set them up with residence in yours, free of charge. We're just that nice. Each week, Kirstyn is a terrible person and tortures me with a true crime tale.
I just don't think I'm a terrible person every week. And then Jeramie is the actual horrible person because at least my cases have resolutions. Yours don't. They're mysteries. They have no ending. There's no little bow at the end. Mine have bows. So, Jeramie sucks.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about the Beaumont children, so there is a bow.
No.
But also, I kind of am the horrible person at the moment because I'm on week 4 of my 4-week saga of Adelaide bullshit. But it's coming to a close. This is the last one, and then we can move on.
What? I just remember people can't see me.
No, this is an audio platform.
I was like cheering, and then I was like, "Oh fuck! Wait, no, I need to say something."
I feel like we go over that every time we record. Like when you're eating in front of the microphone, and I'm like, Kirstyn, this is an audio platform. People can hear. I have to edit that out. Here's hoping that I don't have to edit another nearly 5 hours of audio like last week. Besties, we talk a lot, and we're aware that we talk a lot. And like, okay, fair, last week was different because it was interstate and we hadn't actually spoken to each other in a week. But just for some perspective, we generally record on Fridays, and the way Fridays normally go is we work the same shift. So we get there at the same time. We are in the building together the entire day, have the same breaks. Kirstyn drives me home after we go and do some grocery shopping. We sit in her car outside my house for a good half hour minimum, chatting. And then when we start the Skype call, there's usually about half an hour of just more chatting, the recording, and then there's usually a half hour to an hour debrief because we somehow still have some stuff to talk about. I don't know how.
I don't really know how either. Like, I really don't. Like, as I said to you today, I think my family asked. They were like, why does it take you guys so long to record? And I'm like, fucking Jeramie, I don't know, man.
But then it's also, like, for the most part, outside of Fridays, we barely interact.
Yeah, literally.
Like, it'll be, if we happen to see each other at work, there'll be a brief conversation, but that's it.
Fridays is just Jeramie and Kirstyn Day.
It is. It should be a holiday.
It should be.
We deserve a holiday in our name.
Well, I feel like that's what I should just say to people next time they question why I'm still sitting in the tea room on a Friday afternoon. Are you finished? Yeah, but it's Jeramie and Kirstyn Day.
Yeah.
And then just leave it at that. Just be like, it's Jeramie and Kirstyn Day. Like, I can't leave.
I like it. So, I'm hoping you have a story for me. Otherwise, this is going to be really awkward.
I do. Heads up. Well, you already know. But for everyone else, I did not do a big case this week. I just wanted to make everyone giggle a bit before Jeramie fucking ruined our lives with the ending of this saga. It's an audio file,
That's
Jeramie.
me.
They can't
I was
see
waiting
you
for you to
smiling.
stop talking before I interrupted.
That's
Kirstyn.
new.
I'm trying new things. I'm trying to grow as a person. I don't like it, so I will not be continuing.
Ah, what a mood. Sometimes when people tell me that stuff that they don't like about me, I'm just kind of like, okay, but
Okay,
I
and?
don't like that about me, so like, go the fuck over it.
Or at least I've learned to ignore that about me.
Literally, though. Stay toxic. kidding, guys. Grow.
Grow to be even more toxic. That's what I say. Focus on your self-growth, just
The negative part.
in the wrong direction.
So, life advice from Jeramie. Anyway, before I make you laugh, I just want to give you, like, a little lesson. Do you know what...
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
I hear he
The
lives on
Muffin
Drury
Man.
Lane.
Does he? Oh my god. Let's stalk him.
I already do. That's how I know where he lives.
I also just realised that, like, right above me, there's this little thing that says, work on you for you, and I just feel like that really fits in with the whole, like, stay toxic thing. Like, work on you for you and your toxic beliefs.
Yes. Not anyone else.
No,
Fuck them.
Literally. Anyway, I'm going to stop looking at the things above me. Anyway, so, yes. Have you heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect? Effect.
Like Krueger is in Freddy Krueger?
No.
Then no.
It's spelt that way, but no.
Is Krueger the machine that makes cocktails? No.
What the fuck are you on about? Krueger machine that makes cocktails?
I swear it's a...
I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm just going to continue.
Yes,
Nope.
Krueger coffee makers, and then there's a similar thing called Bartesian that makes cocktails. It's like a pod coffee machine.
Ah.
But it's all... Oh, no, it's Keurig. Why did I think it was
God.
Krueger? Oh,
My God.
it's gonna haunt my dreams later. Anyway, tell me about Daddy Krueger effect.
Dunning-Kruger effect.
That's what I said.
Okay, sure you didn't. This is a quote, so fuck off everyone. Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias whereby people with low ability, expertise, or experience regarding a certain type of task or an area of knowledge tend to overestimate their ability or knowledge. In, like, Kirstyn terms, it's stupid people that think they're better than they actually are. Or
I
smarter
actually
than they are.
have a lesson to pair with that. It almost became one of my fun facts for the week.
Oh, really? That's
Yes,
cool.
let me just find the link. There it is. There is actually a word for someone giving an opinion on something they know nothing about.
Ooh.
An ultra-crepidarian is someone who voices thoughts beyond their expertise.
Ultra-crepidarian?
Yes.
Crushed it. Let's go.
I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. That's what it looks like to me.
That's so good.
Yeah. I almost used that as one of my fun facts, and I'm like, no, it's not that fun, but since you had something that paired perfectly with it, I was like, oh, there we go, now it is fun.
Because I know a fair few of the ultra-crepidarians.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know what to call them. I'm just gonna be like, instead of like, that the whole like, okay, boomer thing, it's gonna be like, okay, ultra-crepidarian. And then I'm just
Except you're
gonna walk away.
going to forget that word in the next 10 minutes.
I really will. Oh well.
So, does the Dunning-Kruger... It's not
Dunning.
Dunning, it's not a toilet. Dunning.
Dunning.
Does the Dunning-Kruger effect have anything to do with this story you're going to tell me that's going to make me laugh?
It does. Just wait,
Okay.
Jeramie. Gosh. I had to kind of make this fat. And then obviously there's the opposite version of it, where high performers tend to underestimate themselves, but who cares about that? That's less funny. So in 2000, fun fact for you, Krueger and Dunning were awarded a satiric Ig Nobel Prize? Why can't I speak? Ig Nobel Prize. Which I didn't even know what the fucking thing was. Apparently it celebrates it started in 1990. It celebrates 10 unusual or / trivial achievements in scientific research. And it's like a little like play on words because something about ig or whatever means not noble or some shit. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really care enough to write it down, so that's...
Like igneous? Because
yes!
you have, like, noble gases and igneous like...
There we go. That's what it is.
I'm a scientist. I know stuff.
You're dating
I'm not a
scientist.
scientist.
That's not the same.
I'm a scientist by association. It counts. His PhD is my PhD. His PhD to be is my PhD to be.
I'm gonna tell him you said that and just...
Oh, he already knows that as soon as he starts calling himself Doctor, I'm going to be Mr. Doctor.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh no, I'm going to call you Mama Doctor. But anyway, why did I tell you this? Because the case that Tie-Dye sent me involves this particular effect. And was mentioned a bunch of times, but, like, the person's just really fucking stupid. So, you know, we have a lot in common.
A lot.
Also, I'd like to point out that I found a lot of this information about this person on a website called mayport.com, which is a wealth management website. /service, which I thought was very entertaining because the rest of this article is
about wealth mismanagement?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's literally like, after all, the hard part about financial planning isn't the math, it's the uncertainty. Yeah. And then they give you 3 suggestions on how to navigate this uncertainty, but they're literally like, overconfidence can be a big problem, especially when it comes to the world of investments.
So basically it's don't do whatever you're about to tell us about, I'm guessing?
Yeah. Also, the case was featured in an academic article on the topic of incompetence by David Dunning and Justin Krueger. And you will see why in about 3 seconds when I tell you what happened.
Okay.
So, on a spring day in 1995 in America, which no one is shocked that it's set in America, a man waltzed on in to 2 banks in Pittsburgh and robbed them at gunpoint. Best he might have gotten away with it, had he not been so fucking dumb. Had he prepared better and had a better working disguise than the disguise he came up with. Do you want to take any kind of stab in the dark as to what his disguise could have been?
Please tell me it was better than a stocking pulled over his head.
It wasn't that. I wouldn't say it's better than that, but it wasn't that. His absolutely brilliant version of a disguise was...
a pair of sunglasses and a hat.
No. It didn't involve any clothing.
He walked in nude.
No. He was clothed, just not on his face.
You just said it. Okay.
Not on his face.
Was it a mustache?
No. It's even dumber. You're not gonna get it.
Oh, what are they called? Those, they have a specific name, but I do not remember them. Those glasses that has the big nose.
No, I fucking love those glasses and I want a pair, but no, it's not that. Would you like me to tell you?
I feel like you're kind of gonna have to.
Okay, so his absolutely genius idea was to coat his face in lemon juice.
What?
Because, and I don't know if you know this, but you can use lemon juice as invisible ink.
I did know that, but it doesn't.
So he thought
Invisible ink is what the ink is what's invisible, not what's underneath the ink.
No,
Like
no.
if you write on paper with lemon juice, the message is invisible, but the paper's still there, bestie.
No. He thought that if he coated his face in lemon juice, his face would be invisible. I shit you not, he was identified within a few hours because he just walked in with his face out.
That, and there was just like a colony of flies and bees and stuff like following him for the scent of the lemon.
The best part is, apparently when he was arrested, he was like, but I used the juice. I just, what the fuck?
This is juicy. I need more. Also, before I forget, I remembered what the name of those glasses is.
Oh,
they
what?
are Groucho glasses.
Groucho glasses. I want a pair. I think I'd look stunning.
Just put your normal glasses on and you'll look like you're wearing a pair of them.
Wow. My glasses are in my car. I can't. But anyway. I couldn't find out if he was charged. Well, I'm assuming he was charged or anything like that. There was a Reddit thread that I went onto which people were like, is the story even real or was it made up? And I was like, to be fair, I can imagine someone being stupid enough to do that. So I'm going to choose to believe it's real. But also, in saying that, that just led me to try and find other super fucking dumb disguises that criminals have tried to use.
That is fair. I reckon he was real sour about getting caught, too. Also, you would not want to have, like, any open wounds on your face when applying
that would sting so much. And what if he accidentally got it on his eyes? Or do you think he, like, put it on his eyelids? Because if he didn't, then technically...
he would have just been floating eyeballs!
But he only put it on his face, so would he technically
it would
have,
just be, like,
hair?
It would... I think in his logic, it would just be...
Mouth?
Yeah, like, just a floating set of hair with no face, which is quite creepy. But, like, can you just imagine being like, oh, just gonna get rid of this pimple real quick, and then I'm gonna slather on the lemon juice.
Ooh.
Ouchie, mama.
But also, like,
no,
would
thank you.
Lemon juice be like, wouldn't it feel gross on your skin?
I feel like it would because I feel like it's quite sticky.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't have any lemon juice, otherwise I would test this. I only have lime juice.
Aren't they, like, the same, just one's yellow and one's green?
Oh, they taste different as well.
That too. I mean, I have lemon squash, but that
will be different.
Is also not lemon juice. I don't think I have lemon juice in my fridge.
I feel like there's, like, a thing where you can, like, use lemon juice for skincare or something. I know that there's, like, a myth that you can put it in your hair.
Ew, bestie, why?
And then if you, like, sit in the sun, something in
to bleach it.
Yeah, to, like, make it, like, lighter. Oh. Apparently lemons have antibacterial properties which help reduce acne. And this person says to mix some baking soda with lemon juice and then massage it into your skin.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to put it, like, where you currently have acne, because that would go straight in open wounds and sting like a fucking bitch.
I don't know. Weird. Anyway. Let's get to these other dickheads. So I found on www.rancor.com the 9...
Are we continuing with the guessing game, or...
Oh my god, yes, let's do that, because that's going to be fucking funny. The 9 dumbest disguises criminals have actually used.
Okay.
So this one was 2 men, and I have a photo of this one, so I can send it to you after. So, On a fall 2009 evening in Carroll, IA, I don't know where the fuck that is, don't really care. Indiana?
No,
Iowa?
IN is Indiana. It might be Iowa. I think it is Iowa.
IA, USA. I was like, what the fuck is that next word? It's Iowa. Crushed it.
On your second guess.
Shut up,
Sure.
Jeramie. Anyway, these two drunken burglars tried to break into an apartment, but first they needed a disguise. They found something around the house and created...
On the outside of the house?
Inside.
I'm assuming?
No.
Inside.
Inside
okay.
the house. They found something inside the house to create masks. And then there were later...
I'm gonna rule out stockings because that seems too obvious.
It was two men, if that makes a difference.
Well, I mean, so it was in their house, not the house they were burgling?
Yes, their house.
Okay. Was it underpants?
No. Again, it's not clothing.
Okay, it's not clothing.
It's something you might find in an office.
Was it sheets of paper?
No, but honestly, I could see someone doing that.
Might find it in an office. I don't know why I'm looking around this like this is an actual office.
To be fair, I can't see the thing that they used in my office, and I don't think you have one in yours, but we use them at work. Not like super frequently, but rather frequently. We especially use them when we want to... When we're doing a reset, we use them.
Gloves.
No?
No. Well, they're not going to put a pallet jack on their face.
I'd be fucking impressed if they could.
Was it a cardboard box?
No, do you want me to tell you? Because I just want you to see this fucking picture.
I'm just trying to think of what else we use when... Was it stickers?
No.
A Nico.
Yep.
I'm like, what else is there?
Fucking pen. Look at the chat. What? Mm-hmm. What? He looks like he tried to be like a Batman.
Okay, but the one on the right has pretty eyes.
He really does. Holy shit. But my favourite thing about this is that apparently they were pulled over not far from the crime scene. And
Can't imagine why.
The cops were like, what the fuck? And the police chief said, I've been chief here for almost 25 years. Been with the department 28 and a half years, and I've seen a lot of things that make me laugh and weird things. But this is probably the best combination of the two. Strangely weird and hilariously funny, all at the same time.
I love when you do these random, theme dives.
They're so dumb.
Oh, they're just always so much fun.
The next one is also highly entertaining. Okay. So this guy... Sorry, I just looked at the picture again. Okay. This guy went into a Circle K gas station. I don't know what the fuck that means, but I don't really care. I'm assuming it's in Illinois. There we go. So this guy...
IL?
Okay, no, I'm looking at the news clipping, bitch.
Oh, okay.
It actually says Illinois.
I was just trying to guess your knowledge. Apparently you know how to crush it.
Nailed it. So this man... This you would find in your kitchen.
In my kitchen? Because there's very little stuff actually in
not in your kitchen now. Actually, maybe in your kitchen now, but you are more likely to find it in your kitchen before the single-use plastic ban.
Oh, a plastic bag.
A clear plastic bag. Bestie put it over his face.
He just wanted to play a game of suffocate.
No, but he doesn't even have it over his whole face.
Oh. Did I ever tell you about suffocate?
Suffocate.
That was the game where that we drunkenly invented one night, where someone would put a plastic bag over their head and we'd play Tiggy.
Oh my god, Drew, what the fuck is wrong with you?
We were grown adults at the time.
No, I
It was
know.
great
I
fun,
assumed.
It was great fun at the time.
None
of us suffocated, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Here we go. So, yeah. So, the dickhead who went into the Circle K gas station...
With a plastic bag covering the part of your face you really don't want the plastic bag
it looks like
covering.
he's, hooked it under his nose.
Fair.
But apparently he had a bag over his hand too. And then he's, pointed that at the clerk. And then, the clerk's, given him some money. Gave him... The clerk gave him some money. And then he left. And then, obviously, he was fucking arrested afterwards because you can see his fucking face. And he was sentenced to more than...
How much time was he given for his sentence?
Fuck you. 15 years.
Damn.
Because apparently it wasn't his first offence either. But one of my favourite things about this is in the screenshot I sent you, it says the title for the photo is Clear Intentions.
He should have used a garbage bag.
Yeah. They're black. You can't see through those. Alrighty, Roo. Now this is you have previously guessed.
Okay. Stockings.
No.
Glove.
No.
Shit, what else have I guessed? Groucho glasses. No. Paper.
No.
A pallet jack.
No.
What else have I guessed? Shit, Naked.
No. Come on, bro.
In your
bedroom.
Trying to remember what... Oh, what? In my bedroom, underwear.
Yep. This otherwise ridiculously dressed man robbed store with panties on his head.
Were they red and lacy?
No, in the video it looks like they were white. It looks like they were granny undies.
Oh. At least have some style while you do it, dude. Red and lacy all the way.
He's not only wearing a giant pair of undies on his head, but also wearing ultra white sneakers, a trash bag tied around his chest, and a floral print mini dress.
Dude's a fucking style icon.
Literally, though.
Where can I need that fit. Where can I get it?
The thing as well is apparently the clerk who he, robbed $200 from, recalls that he thinks he might have been wearing the underwear before he put them on because he was not wearing any underwear underneath the dress.
He inspected that a bit too closely.
I mean, it does look kind of short in his defense.
Oh, he was a low hanger, okay.
So, you know. Okay.
Oh my. That is quite the ensemble.
Literally.
Also, the history of the images that we've sent to each other is quite alarming because I'm currently looking at Mr. Lick down the bottom.
Mr. Lick?
The dude with the world's longest tongue.
Oh, yuck. Alright. Next one is not really stupid, it's just kind of funny. And I don't think you'll guess it, but also I don't know. It's a costume. I don't know the person. You might, though. I'm just Googling it. No, I don't think either of us will know it. Well, I know I don't know it. Have you ever heard of Gumby Adventures?
Gumby? Isn't that the big green dude?
Yeah, okay, so you
with
do know it.
Yeah.
Alright, so this guy decided to rob it in a full-on Gumby costume.
Oh my god, I need to see this. We're going to have some good Instagram content for this week. Oh my god!
Right? So, but super awkward. So he went into a 7-Eleven in San Diego and he was like, oh, I'm going to fucking crush this. No one knows who I am. But he went up to the clerk and tried to rob him and the clerk was like, nah, leave. Stop wasting my time, and fucking laughed at him. And then he didn't even immediately report it. He just told his boss about it and then his boss was like, yeah, dude, we need to report that. Someone just tried to fucking rob you.
What a numpty.
Literally. The next one you and I have both heard of, from the Wine and Crime Gals.
Is it the one with the rat?
No, it's...
Yep, duct tape.
The Duct Tape Bandit. And oh my god, I forgot how fucking weird this guy looks.
I forgot about the duct tape bandit.
I
don't know how I could forget about the duct tape
his
bandit,
face,
honestly.
Though. Like, what the fuck? I just feel like it'd be really painful to get off.
Yes, please tell me there's an after photo.
There isn't, and I'm mad. Maybe if I
Ugh.
play the video, it'll... Like, surely. Wait.
Duct tape.
Oh, sorry, the video. The guy is being interviewed, and they're saying you're the duct tape bandit. And he's like, look at me. I ain't no duct tape bandit. I look nothing like him. And it's like, you do look like a dumb white guy. And like, I just really wish we could have seen... Oh, but it's legitimately him. Oh my god! I'm sorry. I just listened to the rest of the video. You know that Nickelback song that's like, look at this photograph?
Yes.
Someone's put that over it. And the picture of the guy without the duct tape, and then it, like, the picture of him with the duct tape over the top of it, and it's like, look at this photograph. Because the guy's like, do the math, do the homework, and it's like...
Do the math, do the homework.
What the fuck? Oh my god. Okay, so anyway... Number 6. We've got 4 to go. What the fuck? This one. Another costume of a beloved Disney character. Think really sweet. A little ditzy maybe?
Are we talking like Disney princess?
No, not Disney princesses. It's
Okay.
technically an animal. He wears a red shirt.
Oh, Pooh Bear.
Yeah. A Japanese man dressed as Winnie the Pooh beats a man and steals his money.
What?
Uh-huh.
Honey, no.
Yep.
What would Christopher Robin think?
Okay. But apparently, he was in Japan, so no one really, thought anything of it. And then apparently, him and his friends were hanging out. No, 2 of his friends were hanging out in the streets of Tokyo when one of them was dressed as a mouse, the other was dressed as a panther. When some strangers started to stare, so he was like, fuck you, that's really rude, and attacked them and stole 17,000 yen from them.
How much is that?
Great question. 17,000 yen to Oz. Oz dollar.
Because, is that the same as...
Oh, it's 175.
Mateo not...
4.
Okay,
But
that's fair. Because I was going to say that we've learned very recently that conversion is very important. Like when Mateo bought that coffee in Qatar, that he paid 52 whatever their currency is for, and then I did the conversion rate afterwards, and he bought a $21 cup of coffee.
God, with that just...
That wasn't even good because
He
he
threw it
threw
out,
it in the
yeah.
bin.
That hurts me. That hurts me so much.
I mean, this is the same man that texted me to say that Britain was very British when he arrived, which, what a shock. It's British in Britain. Wow.
What? That's crazy. And this next one is kind of funny. A woman in Boston, Massachusetts successfully robbed a bank after she drew what on herself?
Dicks.
No.
Whiskers.
I mean, kind of. Depends on how you look at it. A mustache.
So whiskers.
Literally. And as of 2016, she hadn't been caught.
Oh, okay. So it can't have been that
Yeah,
dumb of a
exactly.
costume
And
then.
apparently all she had was a threatening note. So...
And a mustache.
She was some white lady in her 20s to mid-30s, wearing glasses and a blue hooded jacket. I really wish that I was wearing a blue hoodie right now. I almost grabbed my blue hoodie because I could fucking just cosplay this lady. And a mustache crudely drawn on her face.
Halloween costume sorted for you.
Literally, though. I'm so mad. Do you reckon I could, like... Oh god, this is not going to end well. You can't even see it.
No, you need a Nico.
That's depressing. I don't think I have a Nico.
Also, don't you have work in the morning? Is it really a
Oh,
good
yeah.
idea to draw a
Maybe don't
mustache
do
on
that.
your face with a permanent marker?
Whoa. Probably a good thing I don't have a fucking Nico on me right now. Alright.
And once again, I'm sitting here playing with scissors. Sharp scissors.
Alright, final two. I'm just gonna read to you. Man dressed in hedgehog onesie makes a bomb threat.
Gotta go fast!
Alex
Because it's gonna blow!
Alex Brizzy, 25, decided to dress up in a hedgehog onesie, break into Maryland TV station and tell everyone he had a bomb.
Of course, it was an Alex dressed up in a hedgehog costume.
Yeah, Alex's weirdos.
Them and their hedgehogs.
The bomb was really a red flotation vest covered with foil-wrapped candy bars and a small motherboard attached to nothing. He was shot by police after a short standoff, but managed to survive.
Oh, damn.
But his dad did say that his actions weren't politically motivated and that he was very distressed before the incident. I think you would have to be pretty distressed to dress up as a fucking hedgehog and pretend to have a bomb. Last but not least, this might be my favourite.
I need to ask about Homeboy in the hedgehog costume.
Oh, yeah.
When he was shot, did a bunch of, rings fly out of him?
No, because it's not that kind of hedgehog costume. It's kind of...
It wasn't blue with
No.
red sneakers?
It doesn't even look like a hedgehog.
No, I would not see that and think hedgehog. That's I don't know, mouse?
I don't know if I'd go mouse. I'd go bear.
I don't know.
By the way, it's not a very cute hedgehog outfit.
I mean, bombs generally aren't a cute look, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that's weird. Why would you not think that?
There's my hot take for the week.
Bombs are.
Don't wear bombs.
Alright, are you ready for number 9?
Always.
Guess where it was?
I am gonna say... FL.
Ding, 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 ding.
Good old Florida.
2015, Jacob Mesa, Florida man, dressed up as an iconic movie villain. Darth Vader.
Okay.
What? to rob a Jacksonville beach convenience store. Instead of a lightsaber, though, he equipped himself with a gun and held up the store. But his powers...
the new Star Wars edition where, it's gun.
I mean, they do have blasters in the movie Star Wars! Friendly franchise. But his powers were no match to that of a glass bottle of salad dressing. Yeah, you heard correctly. I said salad dressing.
Was it balsamic? Was it ranch? Italian?
Blue cheese.
Okay. I'm trying to think of a cheesy joke, but all I've got is that someone blew it in his face.
There's little Darth Vader. So yeah, apparently the store clerk refused
Oh
to
my
give him,
god.
refused to give him the money, and there was an altercation, and then somehow the clerk, hit him over the head with, I think it was a glass bottle. Yeah, glass bottle of salad dressing.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't the salad dressing that defeated him, it was, being glassed in the head.
Yeah, which, fair. I think that would take out everyone.
Yep. It'll do a number on you, that's for sure.
But anyway, that concludes my criminals are fucking dumb when it comes to hiding their faces.
I do love when you do these because it's such a wild card that I'm not expecting. And it is always a good laugh.
I thought so.
Plus,
I thought we would need something.
The images that we have to share on our Instagram this week are just gold.
Stars.
Oh. Yeah, look, we do kind of need something, because mine's not a vibe. It's...
Yeah, see?
But it's nearly over. We're in the home stretch, besties. We're nearly there.
So close. It's so fun.
And then we get to have a lot of fun next week. Well, I get to have a lot of fun, and I think that you will enjoy it.
I'm excited.
But you may not. You will have mixed feelings about it, I think.
Oh.
Are you ready for this jelly?
I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I don't think you're ready for this jelly.
Are you ready for this jelly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just wanted to sing the song.
It wasn't
It
wasn't a rhetorical question, Kirstyn.
Just 2 seconds.
So you're not ready for this jelly, is what you're saying.
I'm just really quickly going to type an email while I'm thinking of it. No, actually, I won't email them or call them. That's going to be annoying.
That's probably the better way to go.
Yeah, okay. Now I am ready then.
Alrighty. Unfortunately, I don't have any jelly.
Wow, fucking rude.
But I do have a story.
A story?
I feel like that's better than jelly.
Is it?
Yes. Yes.
Is it really?
It is. So, this week I will finally, thank fuck,
Finally,
be wrapping up the 4-part saga of Adelaide bullshit and be telling you the rest of the case. Again, I'm playing with scissors. What? I'm sitting here and I'm just twirling them through my fingers. Any day now, I'm going to stab myself by mistake. And I will have no one to blame but myself.
I'll probably laugh at you.
I have a little stress toy here for this exact reason, so that I have something to play with while I'm talking. And yet, I choose scissors. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by myself, this week I will finally be wrapping up the 4-part saga of Adelaide bullshit and telling you the rest of the case I started last week, which was the disappearance of the Beaumont children. I'll be honest, this week I really struggled when it came to the fun facts portion of my notes, which is usually where I start, and probably why it took me so long to get these done, because as soon as I got past this, I just breezed through it. So, whoops. I was originally trying to find fun facts about satin. We will burn that bridge later. But honestly, I started reading about the different types of fabric weave, and my eyes kind of started to resemble satin in that they got very shiny because they glossed over. So that's a hard pass. I couldn't do it. And instead, I just found some random fun facts to share. No theme. Nothing to do with the case. Just, I found them interesting and I thought you'd like to know. Ooh. Australia is wider than the moon.
Oh.
So the moon sits at 3,400 kilometers in diameter, which is a little bit over 2,000 miles. And Australia, in diameter from east to west, is almost 4,000 kilometers, which is just shy of 2,500 miles. So, Australia, she thick. Thicker than the moon.
As Papa said today, thick with 3 C's.
At least 4. For sure.
Get it? For sure.
Yes. Mellifluous is the word for a sound that is pleasingly smooth and musical to hear. And I don't know about you, but to me, mellifluous fits perfectly to that definition.
It does. I feel like vagina does as well.
Mellifluous.
Mellifluous.
What was that other word that I taught you earlier?
Oh, fuck.
Ultra.
Cur? Is it the cur? Fuck!
Ultracrepidarian.
Ultracrepidarian. Nailed it. Totally remembered it.
There is only one letter in the alphabet that does not appear in any American state name. Which one is it?
Let me just name all 52 states.
There's 51.
That's embarrassing. Hawaii. California. New York. That's 3. Texas. Indianapolis.
That's the capital of Indiana.
Indiana. Illinois. No, it's Iowa. Iowa.
Illinois is also a state.
Oh, crushed it. Minnesota. Wisconsin. Las Vegas. Los Angeles.
Las Vegas and Los Angeles are not states. Las Vegas is in Nevada and Los Angeles is in California.
I'm still at 11 because I'm counting Nevada. Atlanta.
Atlanta is the capital of Georgia.
Fuck. Georgia. What's the A one? Alaska.
Yes.
Oh my god, why do they have so many fucking states?
Arizona, yes.
San Diego. Seattle.
San Diego and Seattle are both cities. I don't know where San Diego is. Seattle is in Washington State.
Fuck. Washington State and Washington, D.C. Because there's 2 with the same fucking
Washington,
name.
D.C. is not a state. It is just...
Fuck you!
Ohio, Kentucky, Michigan.
Oh, fuck off.
Oklahoma.
You only know that because of Oklahoma.
No, I know that it's a state. New Jersey.
Manhattan! Is that a state?
Manhattan is a city in New York.
Shut up.
Oregon.
Oh, fuck you. I can't think of a single other one. I'm like looking at my bookshelf being like, what? Where have my books been set?
Maine.
Idaho.
Yes.
Crushed it.
Virginia.
Vagina.
West Virginia.
Oh, take
North
me
Dakota.
home.
South Dakota. Carolina.
West Virginia. Wait.
South
Come
Carolina.
carrying your love with me. West Virginia down to Tennessee. Tennessee's surely a fucking state.
I think it is. Louisiana. Anyway. What letter?
Philadelphia.
Yes.
X.
There is an X in Texas.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say V, but Vermont.
Vermont is not a state, but Virginia is. Wait, is Vermont a state?
I don't know.
No, I think Vermont is a city.
Vermont is.
Oh, it is a state. It is a state. Okay, I will give you that one.
Bitch.
All right.
P. Philadelphia.
There's also a lot of other P's.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
U. No, someone has a U. Okay, no, Arkansas. Oh wait, Arkansas. I didn't say that before.
No, you didn't. There you go. Arkansas.
What fucking letter is not featured? Surely. Why?
What? New York.
Oh, right, yeah.
Kentucky.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, F? No.
Florida. California.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G.
Goddamn. Virginia.
Hey.
Michigan.
H? Or does Michigan have
Michigan.
H-I-J! J!
New Jersey.
Shit. H-I-J-K-L-M-O-P-Q! Q!
It is actually Q, yes.
Oh my god.
When I first read it, I was like, no, what about Albuquerque? Albuquerque. Yes.
I was like, what?
But
That's a
no,
city,
Albuquerque
isn't
is in New Mexico, yeah. So
Yeah, Jeramie, gosh, you don't even know the states.
I feel like I know more of them than you do.
I want to know how many I actually named. I feel like it was like 15. At least.
Not in my fun facts, but I did also see this one. What letter do you think is the last letter that was added to the English alphabet?
Oh my god, I've read this before.
I have one of them and you don't.
We share like one letter.
We share a few letters.
We share I. Oh, an R.
And there are E's in Lee. We
I was just
share an O. We share a
just-
W. We share L's. We share lots of letters.
Is it J?
It is J.
Why? It's so random.
Well, no, it makes sense because as we've discussed, English likes to just take from
It's
other languages, and there is no J in the Italian alphabet.
You know what really, really, really irritates me? Stevens, who spell it with a PH. A PH makes a th sound, not a v sound. So if your name is spelled S-T-E-P-H-E-N, your fucking name is Stefan. And that is a hill I will fucking die on.
Imagine having a common name that is spelled differently to the regular spelling.
You know
Says
what,
one
Jeramie?
person in that scenario to the other.
You know what, Jeramie? We're fine because we don't manipulate letters to create our own fucking sounds.
Okay, Kirstyn, if you say so.
I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Sorry, Kirstyn.
No, ew.
I moved letters around the first time, my bad.
Hate the way Americans say my name. Excuse me, Kirstyn. Or make it Kirstyn.
The moon has moonquakes.
Oh, yeah.
They happen due to tidal stresses connected to the distance between the moon and the earth. On the note of the moon, tomorrow at the time of recording is a full moon, which is good for me.
Yay.
Maybe not so good for you because you have to go and deal with the general public tomorrow and they go crazy on a full moon.
I'm being so sociable tomorrow as well. I have plans in the morning, then I have work, and then I have plans after work.
And I almost didn't add this one in, and then I saw it, and it immediately made me think of Weena, so I sent it to her. And then I just thought it was too cute to not share. It is illegal to own just one guinea pig in Switzerland.
Aww.
It is considered animal abuse because they are social beings and get lonely.
Oh, that's so cute.
Right?
Oh, I don't think were you in the tea room today when she told the story about how her guinea pig used to have a mullet at his butt?
No.
Like a butt mullet, and then she had to cut it because it kept getting poo stuck in it.
Alright. That's the fun part over. Did you enjoy your little guessing game?
I did.
Can you think of any other US states that you missed while we're here? Can you tell me what the capital of South Australia is?
I went to say
You did. I saw your mouth and I was like, homie, no.
Adelaide!
Yes. Okay.
Nailed it. Okay, in my defense, I have Perth on my brain because Bean Pie is going there next week.
Why, though? I do not know. Okay. My glass is now my glass is empty, so I'm just going to fill it back up before I tell you this story because, the rest of this story, including a little recap, because, I'm sorry, but this tale is not funky fresh.
And has it been a funky fresh Friday for you?
It's been a funkier, fresher Friday than yesterday. Than last Friday.
You know why, Jeramie?
It's not because of you.
Yes, because last Friday I was not there to make your day funky fresh, but this Friday I was.
So, last week I started the case of the Beaumont children's disappearance. I'm just going to quickly recap what's happened so far in the story, but if you haven't listened to last week's episode yet, I highly recommend you go do so now before I jump into this, as there's a lot going on with this case. Also, Kirstyn paired that case with another of Australia's biggest missing persons child abduction cases, so it was a really interesting episode. If you need to go catch up, you can go do that. We'll wait. We'll sit here and we'll wait.
We'll just chill here. We'll wait for you because we love you.
It'll only take 3 hours. Yeah, we got time. We're not doing anything.
Recap.
Okay, go listen. We'll be here when you get back.
Cool, so you back?
No, I don't think they're done yet, Kirstyn. Give them a second. Get some patience, girl. Okay, I think they're done. Cool.
Hey.
Cool.
Back.
All caught up? Awesome. For those of you who didn't just go back in time and listen to last week's episode, I'm going to give you a quick previously on, but you should have listened to that anyway because, as I just said, there's a lot of moving parts.
Previously on Rent Free in My Head.
It's Australia Day, 1966 in Adelaide, South Australia. 3 children, 9-year-old Jane, 7-year-old Anna, and 4-year-old Grant, caught the bus to the next suburb over to spend the day at the beach on their own and never returned home. What followed was the largest search in South Australian history, with police and volunteers combing land and sea to no avail. Neither the children nor any of the 17 items they took with them were located. Tips and sightings flooded in with a lot of the sightings of the children that morning, including them being with and playing with an unidentified man, but interacting with him as if they knew him, despite all being described as shy. The last confirmed sighting of them was at a bakery where they purchased cakes and a pie for the man, and paid with a £1 note, despite only having 8 shillings and a 6pence when leaving home that morning. 8 months later, a police officer with a crossed line overheard a phone conversation that was mistaken as a clue. 2 months after that, a Dutch parapsychologist, or as we decided, a psychic croissant, with ever-changing visions, was flown out by locals to assist and claimed to know where they were buried with certainty before yeeting back home 3 days later. The public rallied to dig up the floor of a warehouse following his visions, and after a 9-day effort, found it to be a false lead 5 months later. And that's what you missed on Glee.
Also, just a side note, January 26th is also known as Invasion Day.
Yes, we covered that last week. I'm just breezing past with the previously on. So anyway, that brings us to where I left us off last week. Well, aside...
Where he left us.
Where I left us last week. I'm just going to repeat the last paragraph that I said last week and jump in from there. Just to, like, smoothly glide in. Ooh, don't like that. Who lets me speak?
No.
Me! I gave myself a platform to speak. That's who lets me speak. Good job, me. So now we jump ahead again, nearly a year to February 1968, and it's been 2 years since the children disappeared, and 2 letters arrived to the Beaumonts, postmarked as being from Dandenong, a suburb in Melbourne, Victoria. One, in childlike handwriting, claiming to be penned by Jane, who would be 11 at this point, and one claiming to be from the man himself. Now, I have been able to find an excerpt from this letter from Jane in multiple places, but it appears that the only place I will find the full letter itself published, like in writing anywhere, is in a book called The Satin Man. I will get to the relevance of this book later, but also that's why I was going to use satin as my theme. I will burn that bridge later. When we get to it, I'll explain what the Satin Man has to do with anything. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go and buy this book, as I don't read, and also I don't really have the money to just throw at something I'm not going to use outside of this one small instance. And while I have heard the letter read in its entirety elsewhere, and I know exactly where to find hearing it, I didn't really have the time to sit here and transcribe it. I'm sorry, but I was operating on a tight schedule between working full-time, editing the 5 hours of audio to get last week's episode, the bare minimum of self-care, if I can even call it that, and writing out 2 episodes worth of notes in the space of a week. So, you'll get what you get, and you won't get upset, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Best I can offer is a summary of what the letter said, and then the excerpt that was readily available to copy and paste. So, I still did some of the legwork for you. I just did not have the time to sit here, listen to a few words, type them out, listen. I can't listen and type at the same time. So I have to okay, that's 5 words. That's 5 more words. Not happening, bestie. No. So, the first half of the letter says that the children are safe and that there is no need to worry about them. They are well fed, they're looked after, and then it goes on to explain that they were walking to the bus stop from the beach when a man stopped and offered them a lift, which they accepted. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
It goes on to say that he wouldn't let them write earlier, but after seeing a story in the news that day, the day that she's writing this, he felt sorry for Jim and Nancy, so he's letting them write now. And that Anna and her talk about them often, but that Grant doesn't remember them.
Okay, well, he was really small.
Yeah, he was 4, and it's been 2 years, so. The man said to me just now that he will willingly let us go if you come over to Victoria to get us, as long as you do not call the police. He said that if you do, the deal is off. You have to pick us up in front of the Dandenong post office at 10 minutes to 9 o'clock next Monday, the 26th of February. You, Dad, have to wear a dark coat and white pants so that the man will know you. The man told me to tell you that the police must not know at all. He said that if you do tell them, you may as well not come. So please do not tell them. The Dandenong post office is in Victoria, in case you did not know. We are all looking forward to seeing you next Monday. Please do not tell the police. The man did not mean to harm us. We still love you both. Love, Jane, Anna, and Grant. So that's the last half of the letter.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. The other letter reportedly claimed to be from the man and stated that he had appointed himself the children's new guardian, but would be willing to return them at a time and place of his choosing, with similar guidelines and instructions as stipulated in the letter from Jane. So basically, it was just to corroborate what she put in her letter.
Jane had said.
Yes. I see that you've tracked on that I'm using air quotes here.
I have.
Because keep in mind, it's still an unsolved missing persons case. So, here is another instance where I got some differing information. I heard some reports that while the letter from Jane was penned in a childlike style, it did not actually match Jane's handwriting, but then other reports said that they were enough of a match to be believed authentic at the time, so I'm not entirely sure on that one. Either way, there is one important thing worth noting in this letter.
I was like, why are you stopping?
Anna's name, which is spelled Arnna, is spelled incorrectly.
Interesting spelling.
It is spelled incorrectly in the letter with only one N.
Okay, but like super quickly, how much of a fucking cunt do you have to be to send that kind of letter to parents of missing children?
Probably not as big a cunt as being a croissant claiming to know where their children are buried with an ever-changing list of visions every day.
Why is there such shitty people in this case?
It's not great. And it gets shittier. Because you're just remembering what the other cases attached to this are, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, naturally, they're not going to let these letters just be forgotten, especially if there is even the smallest possibility of them being legit, and this being their one and only chance to get their children back. And so, Jim travels over 700 kilometres, which is over 430 miles, to Dandenong. He followed the instructions and waited outside the post office in the required clothing. I also heard report that not long after the designated time, a phone call was made to the post office to let him know the man was late and would be there soon. But after waiting 3 days with no sign of any man nor the children, Jim returned home, empty-handed. And shortly after returning home with nothing to show for his trip, another letter arrived in the same handwriting as the previous letter from Jane. This letter claimed that the man had been in Dandenong at the time as agreed, but had spotted an undercover cop and quickly fled. The man had seen this as a betrayal to the agreement and in turn decided he would be keeping the children.
What?
Yeah. Now, from what I've heard, this may not have been entirely inaccurate, as it does sound like Jim didn't travel alone. The same officer from earlier in the story, Stanley Swain, you know, the one who reportedly told the Beaumonts about the new lead when the Victorian senior constable had a crossed line and overheard a phone conversation everyone else believed to be a hoax or a misunderstanding, which it was. That guy, he may have travelled with him. As far from what I've gathered, he went along. So that they did tell the police.
But can you really blame them?
No, I cannot. But from what I heard, he checked into the same hotel as Jim under his actual name.
Oh my fucking Christ! Is he stupid?
He was really not super incognito about it. That's from what I gathered. So he may be the one that was a suspected undercover cop. And also the trip actually gained...
Undercover, is he?
No, he really ain't. The trip also gained a lot of unwanted attention from the media. So the second the media picked up on the trip, the press went wild and it went public. And I'm like, besties, what are you doing?
Because that's the...
However, even with those things in mind, it wouldn't have mattered, as no man was ever going to meet Jim in Dandenong with the children anyway. Some 20-odd years later, in about 1992, 1993, again, I saw two different dates. My issue is everywhere said 25 years later, which is 1993, but then they also said 1992, so I don't know. I'm going to go with 20-odd years later, in about 1992. DNA testing on the letters led to a man currently in his 40s who would have been a teenager at the time.
Oh, yuck.
The letters were written as a cruel, sick joke.
Why?
And while he reportedly felt guilty for what he had done, feeling guilty is as far as it went for him, as the time period to file charges had long passed, so he wasn't charged with anything.
Did someone just go and fucking punch him in the face? Is this guy still alive?
I don't know.
And where does he live? Unrelated question.
I don't know. I didn't even get a name. 5 more years go by from this, and we are now in 1973, when a new and somewhat similar missing persons or child abduction case hits the news. The Adelaide Oval abduction. The disappearance of Kirstyn Gordon and Joanne Ratcliffe. If this sounds familiar to you, that's because it was part 2 of the Saga of Adelaide bullshit. If you don't remember it, it was the case I covered in episode 20, You Never Forget Your First Bank Robbery. And again, I'm about to give you a quick TLDR version, but if you want to hear more information about that case, go listen to that episode.
Previously on
August 25th, 1973, 11-year-old Joanne Ratcliffe and 4-year-old Kirstyn Gordon met at a football game at the Adelaide Oval as their families were seated next to each other. During this game, the girls went to the bathroom together twice, but did not return after the second trip. Witness reports following included seeing the girls with an unidentified man, and a sketch was made of this man and released to the public. Now, this disappearance reminded the public of that of the Beaumont 7 years earlier, as it was a very similar situation. Young children vanishing from a crowded public place. But that wasn't the only reason. Both the description of the man from these statements and the sketch were considered to be quite similar to those from the Beaumont case. And it was quickly the general consensus of the public that it was likely the same man in both cases. Unfortunately, this didn't pan out much further than that, and both cases began to go cold. I do have the two sketches side by side.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I think it was more based on the descriptions personally, but who knows? Because neither of those sketches are really
different.
I don't know.
I guess maybe the eyes, but the noses, the first one's nose is wider.
Well, the first one, the one on the left is, the...
Oh?
No.
No.
The Adelaide
football
Oval,
one.
yeah.
The football one.
This is the other one released for the Beaumonts that I sent you last week as well. So that may look more similar than the one on the right.
Wait, did it close it? No, it didn't. Okay, hold on. Let me just get all three side by side. If my computer wants to let me. Jeramie, get out of my way. I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult given their sketches, but
I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, is it just a skinny white man? Like, no judgment, besties. I'm also hella judgy of skinny white men.
But, like...
Why is the last one you sent me the creepiest?
Right. Well,
He looks evil.
Let me just quickly jump back to my Adelaide Oval notes and see if I listed any of the information about his description.
I think it's the eyes that are similar, but the noses are different.
All that was really said in that was that it was a thin man around the same age with a thin, long face.
Which I guess this other guy
which matches what the Beaumonts was, yeah. But he also was wearing a hat, so they couldn't, I didn't notice anything about hair color in that, but I also may have missed it. So I didn't dive too far into this part of the story. I just saw a lot of mention of it and I thought I'd bring it up. There was a lot of mention of a suitcase full of newspaper clippings that was found amongst rubbish in 1986. Some reports said it was a suitcase, others said it was 3 suitcases, some said it was in a rubbish tip, some said it was in a public garbage can.
Random.
Just a suitcase full of newspaper clippings found amongst rubbish. This was considered a clue at the time because there was things circled and things scribbled in the margins or whatever that looked like someone with knowledge to the case had done so. But it seemed like it actually just led back to having been collected by an eccentric old woman. Maybe she was planning to start her own true crime podcast before anyone even knew what that was. Who knows? But yeah, I'm not too sure about that part. I just thought it was odd and worth mentioning because I kept seeing it and I was like, okay, I'll talk about it, fine. This now leads me to 1989, when it was suggested and considered likely that one Bevan von Einem was behind the disappearances. And if that name sounds familiar to you...
I hate him!
I am not surprised. His name came up in both the other cases of this saga, particularly the family murders. And this theory or suspicion actually stemmed directly from witness testimony in the trial for one of the murders. The family murders was the first case that I covered in this 4-part saga. It was also the most horrific. In episode 19, Hippocratic Oath, not Hypocritic Oath. And I'm only going to suggest you go and listen to it if you haven't already, specifically if you genuinely want more information about the case, as it was an absolutely brutal one to cover. It really hurt me to do so, and I know that it hurt you guys to listen to because some of you have reached out and told me so. I promised you I did it for a reason, and we're about to get to that reason because none of what I'm about to say would make any sense without the context. Please, if you do wish to go back and get more information about that case, do so at your own with your own risk. I remember prefacing it by prefacing it. Well, I can't speak. I also said do so with your own risk. Do so at your own risk. I remember prefacing it by saying it was basically an amalgamation of Ivan Milat, The Candyman, and Il Mostro di Firenze, which were the 3 most horrific cases we'd covered prior, but it's now definitely the most horrific, and it's the one people have contacted me saying they couldn't handle. I'm really sorry. I am about to give you a very, very brief recap of that case here. That should be enough to get you through. But if you do want to hear more, that's where you can find it. And that's your call, not mine. Between 1979 and 1983, 5 teenage boys and young men aged 14 to 25 were kidnapped, tortured, raped, and murdered by a group of loosely connected individuals referred to as the family. The group is also believed to have been involved in the kidnapping and sexual abuse of approximately 150 teenage boys and young men in Adelaide throughout the 1970s and 1980s. 4 of the 5 murders remain unsolved, with 1 suspect having been charged and convicted for one of the murders, one Bevan von Einem. I'm just going to leave it at that. I will say I didn't even have it in me to sit and type out a recap of that case. I literally just went and yeeted that paragraph straight out of the intro of my notes for that app. I was like, that'll do, done. So, I will preface all of what's about to come by saying this is based off of witness testimony alone, and there is absolutely no evidence to back any of it up. So take it with a grain of salt, but it is definitely worth noting. I figured we'd both need a drink. An informant known only to the public as Mr. B, reportedly an old friend of von Einem, claimed to have had a conversation with him in which von Einem boasted about taking 3 children from a beach home with him and conducting experiments on them. A brilliant surgery where he connected them up. I did not get any more clarification on that, nor did I want any more clarification on that, but I am assuming it's a human centipede style situation. Reportedly, one died in the process, so he killed the others and dumped the bodies. He also, in this conversation, claimed to have taken the girls from the Oval. Now, reportedly, Mr. B had given important information during the investigation into the murder of Richard Kelvin, which is the murder that von Einem was found guilty of and imprisoned for. And he had proven to be a generally reliable source, but reportedly police had a mixed response to his claims. Enough of the details were plausible enough to warrant consideration, but some details just plain didn't fit known facts, like at all. As far as I'm aware, he still hasn't officially been ruled out as a suspect, but there are some things about this theory that I feel are worth noting and that I want to quickly address. Apparently, von Einem was known to frequent Glenelg Beach, specifically to perv on people in the changing rooms, and he's been described as being preoccupied with children, which, as we discussed in great detail in that other case, I do actually believe I also saw mention in the doco that I watched that he was spotted in the crowd the day the marina was drained during the search, but I may be mistaken on that one. I'm fairly certain because they did discuss him in that doco.
Yeah.
However, he was only about 20 to 21 at the time of their disappearance, and the unidentified man was said to be in his mid to late 30s. While it is reported that he looked older than he was, that's still a significant age discrepancy.
Yeah, that seems a bit...
I mean, I often get told that I look younger than I look, but no more than 5-6 years.
Yeah, mine's always 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, it's...
I've never gotten under 20, I don't think.
I feel like in order for someone to look like they're in their mid to late 30s at 20, they have lived a
Been through some
rough
shit.
life. They are that kid.
Oh my god, yes. Well,
They've
2 days
They've
in the
spent 2 days in the
wilderness.
wilderness with bears and coyotes and
And
the likes.
wolves.
They hit the coke hard at 18 and didn't stop. And I think there was some heroin involved too.
Fair.
He also had medium to dark brown hair, which doesn't match up with the fair to light brown hair of the man in the witness statements. As well as that, looking at the family murders, he has a history, I should say a suspected history, because he's only been convicted for one.
I hate this man so much.
Of targeting males in their teens and early 20s, which is a whole different victim type to that of the Beaumonts and Joanne and Kirstyn, who were all young girls, with the exception of Grant. While such a disparity amongst victims isn't unheard of in a serial killer, it is definitely unusual. But that is how these three cases were connected and intertwined, and why what was originally going to just be a two-parter case covering the Beaumont children disappearance turned into the 4-part saga of Adelaide bullshit, because you kind of needed the context of those other cases prior to this in order for it to make sense when they came up. Otherwise, I would have had to sit here and go through like all of the information now, and it would have been just as long and probably even more depressing because it would have been all at once.
All in one hit. Just be crying in the corner.
I did tell y'all there was a reason for that brutal one at the start. I'm sorry I put you all through this, but the Beaumont children is one of Australia's biggest missing persons, if not the biggest missing persons case. One of our biggest unsolved mysteries, and it's just a fascinating one as well because there are so many twists and turns. And this happened in 1966. It's now 2022. That is 56 years?
19 what?
1966 to 2022.
Yeah,
60,
30, yeah, 50.
Yeah. 56 years. Still unsolved.
Yeah.
I think as well, I actually also saw mention that at one point Stanley Swain found a woman that he was convinced was Jane as an adult, but it didn't go anywhere. But yeah, that is the disappearance of the Beaumont children. All wrapped up, and as wrapped up as I can make it, I guess. And also the end of the saga of Adelaide bullshit.
The end of the depressing city. If that's the end of the depressing shit, I do low-key have a question, because I feel like you mentioned something about a book last time?
Actually, no, that was tonight. The Satin Man,
Oh, yeah, I was like, I fucking remember a book, and you said you would come back to it because it had to do with your fun facts.
Okay, this is really awkward because I'm literally at the end of the notes that I typed out. I was too preoccupied on wrapping up the connection between all three that I completely forgot about the whole Satin Man thing. Let me just go back to my handwritten shell, and we're going to work off that for the rest of this. Sorry, besties, I can't believe I did that. That's not like me. Okay, so
I love that I couldn't even remember when the book was mentioned. I just was like, book.
Yeah, you're like, hang on, you told me you were going to tell me about a book, and there is no fucking book.
I'm so confused.
So yes, 1992, the letters were proven fake, and that they were a hoax. 1998, so remember in the, remember in the Adelaide Oval abductions, I mentioned suspects? One of the same ones, one of the people who was considered for the Adelaide Oval abductions was also considered a suspect at the time, which was 86-year-old Arthur Stanley Brown. The one who was charged but not convicted for a 1970 murder and rape of 2 young girls in Townsville. Again, it has never been confirmed whether or not he actually ever visited Adelaide. But because a woman who at 14 witnessed the Adelaide Oval abduction, like the Kirsty and Joanne being taken by the man, in 1998 she saw his face on TV and went, "That's the man I saw 25 years ago." Because he was considered a suspect in that case, and the general consensus was that the same person did both, he was also considered a suspect in this case. It's never been confirmed if he ever actually visited Adelaide, so let alone twice for 2 separate occasions. So
where was he from again? Townsville.
He was from Queensland, yeah. Which also everyone was convinced that they were in Victoria in that green ute. The one that you said was your mum.
Fucking Karen.
In
a way, like, if you're coming from Queensland to Adelaide, you could go through Vicky. If you went, like, a backwards L.
It seems like a long way to do it, though.
Well, I mean, like, Victoria's kind of pretty. Like, Melbourne is cool.
It is. Melbourne is way cool.
So, like...
Anyway, then in 2006, a book called The Search for Beaumont Children was published. And a woman called Angela contacted, I believe, the authors of that book and said that she felt like her ex-father-in-law might be a suspect.
What?
Yes. Which then led into a big investigation which led to the book, The Satin Man, being published in 2013, which is also basically the main theme behind the doco that I watched, which was released in 2018. 7 News investigates the Beaumont children, what really happened. A big chunk of that revolves around explaining this theory about the Satin Man, a man named Harry Phipps. He was a...
Phipps as in Phipps?
Yes, he was a wealthy man living in a suburb near Somerton and Glenelg. He had a cast... Everyone kept saying cast alloy, but to me it's cast alloy.
Cast alloy or...
Cast alloy. Cast alloy.
Cast alloy.
Because it was alloy.
Yeah, alloy.
Yeah, but everyone was like, "Oh yeah, the cast alloy." Are you trying to say cast alloy?
You're like, you don't know what you're doing.
I really quickly am just gonna jump in. You know how last week I was making fun of that lady that said that he predated on children?
Yeah.
I randomly was like, I should double check myself before someone tweets me and wrecks me.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
I will confirm that yes, when I googled the word predate, one single instance came up like on the second page as saying to prey. I think it's a very old, unused word. Everything else came back as predate. I still think it's wrong.
It's a weird word.
But yes, so he had a factory in the area. He was a violent alcoholic, a lover of firearms, and he sexually assaulted his own son up until the age of 14.
Oh.
He is dubbed the Satin Man because he had an affinity is not even a strong enough word, nor is fetish.
He had a boner for
He
satin?
had such a strong affinity and fetish for satin that people couldn't even wear satin around him. Just the sound.
Because he would get so turned on by it.
The sound of it rustling was enough to elicit a visual sexual arousal within him.
He would get a boner from fucking listening to satin rustle.
Yeah, the sight of it, the sound of it. He had a collection of satin nightgowns and pajamas that he wore to bed, and he would put one on before slipping into his son's room.
I feel so disgusted because I have satin pajamas and they're so fucking cute, but I low-key do not ever want to wear them again. Thanks for ruining them for me. I got them for Christmas.
You're welcome.
They're really pretty.
They also described him as being powerful and linked to politicians and authority figures, which got me thinking, Adelaide, right around the right time, was he a member of the family? Anyway, a lot of this hinges on his son Hayden reporting that he remembers seeing his father with 3 young children in beach towels on or around January 26th, and that he heard 4 gunshots that same day. It wasn't unusual. When they questioned him, they were like, oh, did you not think it was odd to hear gunshots? And he's like, not really. My dad loved guns. He was always shooting them. Yeah, and they were like, even with children in the house? And he's like, yep, anytime.
I mean, he's raping his children. I don't think he's really fucking caring about firing a gun near them.
Precisely. While investigating to write the book, The Satin Man, one of the authors or investigators or, I don't know, a person actually at some point had an interaction with Harry's second wife, Norma. And while he was in her house, he spotted a small white child's purse.
Small white child's purse?
Mm-hmm.
Why is a white child's purse
No.
different to like it was
the
white, colour white.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about the child being white, and I was like,
no.
What's the difference between
a small white purse?
child?
A small white purse that belonging to a child, or the type that a child would own.
That's weird.
And I'm just gonna go back and... where is it? On the morning of January 26th, their mother Nancy gave Jane 8 shillings and a 6pence to cover bus fare and lunch, which she put in her small white purse for safekeeping.
Bruh.
Now, when he spotted this, he thought that this was an odd item for a woman with no young children to have. It was like in a basement or something. I don't know where it was. It was just
to
like
be fair,
there. So when he returned,
child's purse.
when he returned and asked her about it, however, she said she had just bought it at a thrift. I said thrift store because when I took these notes, I was listening to an American talk about it.
Oh, but an op shop.
Just bought that at an op shop the other week, which he also thought odd because she was loaded, so why was she buying a child's purse at an op shop? And also she apparently then threw it out.
I'm not defending this woman, but I am saying, to be fair, I own a child's handbag that I bought from Best and Less because it's in the shape of a fucking gingerbread house and it's the coolest thing ever.
And that sounds like something you would own.
And I feel like I would still op shop if I was rich. Fuck, I would op shop more.
But I don't remember exactly when, but it was. I think it was. Don't remember exactly when, but at some point while watching, I think it was a 60-minute special. It could have been any of those about the Beaumont children. A man named David Harkin had a realization. He remembered that in the summer of 1966, he and his older brother Robin, when they were 15 and 17, had been hired by a local man to dig a hole.
Oh.
A hole that was like 2 meters deep, 2 meters long. They were paid for it. They were not told what it was for. And that man was Harry Phipps.
Bruh.
So he had the realization all these years later that he may have dug a grave. There has been some ground penetration, and this was at the cast alloy factory, like on the grounds of it. Yeah. And in a bit after 2013, they used ground penetration radar. They found an anomaly in the soil, but meaning it at some point had been dug. When they excavated, it didn't lead to anything. But following the reports from David, they were able to determine that it was actually in a different location. And in the 2018 documentary, they mentioned that they had located another anomaly in the vicinity of where they had determined was where they had dug, and that they were about to begin digging. An update on that is that when they dug, it was called off after 12 hours because all that they found was animal bones, not human bones. But that
Okay, so that's like a really smart way to hide a body, is to bury the human body and then bury fucking animal bones on top, because everyone's going to stop at the animal bones. Like, if I ever murder someone, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
It was as far as the anomaly in the soil went, though.
Oh, okay.
So, like, yeah.
I was watching this show. I do not remember what show it was, but I was at my dad's house, and there was this guy, and he was digging for something, and he's like, such and such was killed, and this is where his body is buried. And everyone was like, no, you're being silly. And then he convinced them to dig. And then they dug and they found a dog's body. And everyone was like, see, you're stupid. It's just a dog's body. And then I turned around and I was like, nah, bet the human body's underneath. Just needs to keep digging. So everyone else fucked off except for the guy who said it was there. He kept digging and then he found the human body. And my sister turned around to me. I think it was Courtney. I'm pretty sure she said to me, it could have been Courtney, or my dad turned around to me and was like, so I know who to call if I ever want to bury a dead body. Why do you know that? And I was like, why don't you know that?
I'm pretty sure I have either seen whatever that was or I've heard that story or a similar story before. Anyway, so thank you for reminding me that I completely missed a big chunk of my notes. I don't know how I managed that. But that's the summary of the whole Satin Man connection. And that theory.
Has like a fucking thing for satin.
I know.
What's that word where you have like paraphilia?
I wonder what the paraphilia for satin is.
Sexual attraction to satin. Satin fetishism is a kind of sexual fetishism or kink that gives people excitement by looking or touching satin clothing or the satin garment or the fabric itself.
It doesn't have a specific term.
It seems like it's kind of like a really like common thing, but why do you not have things?
But yeah, so you gonna cozy on up in your satin PJs tonight?
No. I do think I will be wearing those pajamas again for quite a long time, which is really annoying because I look so fucking cute in them and they're really comfy.
Sorry. Well, you'll enjoy what I have prepared for you next week / later tonight. For you. You genuinely will. It's...
I'm like, I don't know, Jeramie, you did just destroy my life. So.
Oh no, I've gone fun for the next one.
I did.
There's a reason I've been eager all day to get to the second recording.
Okay. Well, that wraps up this week's episode of Sadness and Jeramie's 4-part saga of horribleness involving children. And there
Thanks,
may be
Adelaide.
there may be a new murder that you hear about if next week's episode is not happy like Jeramie has promised me.
I didn't say it was happy, I said it was fun.
Oh, God. Either way, we would like to thank you for letting us squat in your heads, because we're both broke as fuck and need to rent. What? Can't afford rent. My brand new wacky.
We really cannot.
But in other news, if you want to abuse Jeramie for abusing you, you can email. I'll get the email as well. So, like, at the top, you could just write nice things about me and then abuse Jeramie. You can email us at rfimhpodcast.com.au. What? No.
No.
You can email us at rfimh@gmail.com.
rfimhpodcast@gmail.com.
You can email us at rfimhpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to stalk us on social media, just fucking type in Rent Free in My Head podcast on Facebook and we'll pop up. Or it's at RFIMH podcast. If you want to stalk Jeramie individually on Instagram, it's
Jeramie Gage.
At Jeramie Gage, because I didn't say the at for him. Apparently he can't do it himself.
It's good.
And at Kirstyn Lee. We also have a YouTube. If you want to hit us up on there, give us some likes, chuck us a comment, judge us if you want. Also, rate and review on Apple Podcasts.
And you can also rate on Spotify now too.
Oh yeah, you can rate on Spotify. So give us some ratings, guys. Like, generally, if you like us, if you don't fucking like us, give us ratings and give us feedback.
It really helps us out to know what we're doing well, what we're not doing well. Please reach out. Like, please.
We're on our knees begging you.
Oh, yes.
Just for you. But anyway, let me open my goodbye link and choose a funny one for you today.
Oh, cute. Can close those
choose one I haven't fucking used. Some of these are so stupid. I love them. You know what? I don't know if I've used this one before. Honestly, I possibly could have. But you know what? It's funny, so I'm just going to say it. Love, peace, and chicken grease.
You have used that one before.
I just love it. Oh, you know, shine on, you crazy diamonds.
Let's go, fatty hole.
Thank you, Papa, for that call out. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.